Okay, so we have our first big hurricane of the 2023 hurricane season, and this is a question I get all the time as a travel agent who specializes in cruises. John, if I've got a cruise booked this weekend and there's a hurricane out there, what happens? Well, the answer to that is pretty simple. If the cruise line goes, if the cruise departs as scheduled, you're expected to be on it. If you aren't, then you'll be hit with the regular cancellation penalties that would apply regardless whether or not there was a hurricane or not. The cruise line will change the itinerary of the cruise to avoid the storm if they can. If not, they will cancel it. If the cruise line cancels the cruise, you'll have a refund. But if they don't and you just decide you don't want to go, you're going to be subject to the cancellation penalties. What about travel insurance? Travel insurance is something we always recommend, especially around hurricane season. And there's a particular type of insurance that would help you if you've got a cruise book during this time of year, and that's called cancel for any reason travel insurance. Not all travel insurance gives you the ability to cancel for any reason, but a lot of the policies do. You usually have to pay a little bit more for that, but it is something you want to think about if you're traveling this time of year. The other way insurance helps you is in the unusual event that the cruise ship takes off from one port, but because of the storm and the way the scheduling is on the ship, if the hurricane is right on top of the port where it was scheduled to return, you might end up disembarking at a completely different port. For example, we saw a lot of this in 2004, where we had several major storms right in a row, disrupting cruise operations, and we had some folks that left out of Port Canaveral that ended up being dropped off, not in Canaveral, but in Fort Lauderdale, a few hours south. And the travel insurance that they had enabled them to rebook their flights for a different departure, changing hotels, car rentals, things like that, that would normally be an out-of-pocket expense without insurance. That was good for them to have. So if you're going to travel during this time of year, and every year there's a big storm, the last weekend of August, the first week of September, that is almost like clockwork. You can guarantee there's going to be a storm, and sure enough, there it is. You want to have insurance, and you want to have good insurance, and you want to just be open to changes and adjustments to the itinerary. A lot of times during this time of year, we see folks miss different ports of call because they have to change the itinerary as the ship is underway they're avoiding the storm to make sure you guys are safe while you're out there cruising around. But that may mean you have to skip a stop in the Bahamas, usually the private islands where they've got the long docks, like Perfect Day at Coco Cay or Castaway Cay, Disney's private island. We see those get missed a lot in this during this time of year. In fact, just about any port of call can be difficult to get to when there's wind and whatnot for the ships to deal with. So if you're going to book during hurricane season, you need to be prepared for changes and just be flexible and enjoy the trip. So hope this was helpful. Hope you learned something. Love to have your next cruise business. Give me a call at AMS Travel Sales. Have a great day.